Hello, my name is Audra Cox and I was in a British literature course this past semester that was taught by Professor Allegra Villarreal. For our final project, Professor Allegra encouraged us to put our creative skills to the test and to make something more right-brained in reference to a topic that our class covered this past semester. So I have decided to do a Draw My Lifestyle video of the characters from the Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. The Canterbury Tales is a collection of stories told from people in all different walks of life regarding class who happen to be making the same pilgrimage to Canterbury. The author Geoffrey Chaucer was born around 1342, and he was born into a family of wine dealers. However, Chaucer's family decided instead of teaching him the tools of the trade regarding their own business, that they would send him off to an aristocratic court. This caused Chaucer to be a part of two different social groups right off the bat. The first being that he was born into the merchant class, and the other that he was raised in the aristocratic class. Thus, he was very familiar with and had close relationships with both people groups. This may be one of the contributing factors as to why Chaucer chose to incorporate from the different societies into one story. It was absolutely unheard of. They had always kept them separate. So because of this, the Canterbury Tales got a lot of attention and stood out very drastically among its story peers. It's speculated that Chaucer's original intent with the story was to have a collection of 120 stories told by the pilgrims. Each character was going to tell 2 stories on the pilgrimage to Canterbury and 2 stories on the way back home. However, the story that we modernly know as Canterbury Tales is only comprised of 22 stories. This is due to the fact that Chaucer never really finished his work. He finished 22 complete stories, and he partially finished 2 before his death in the 1400s. So because Chaucer wrote this story sporadically, these works lay in 10 different fragments with no general order. Many people over the years have tried to compile his works into one cohesive piece, causing there to be over 80 different manuscripts. But the most commonly used manuscript is the Ellesmere script manuscript. And even this is not a perfect fit, but it is the most quote-unquote satisfactory. So in addition to his aspirations to write the Canterbury Tales, Chaucer also wanted to be a poet. Now at this time, poetry was only written in Latin, but Chaucer didn't want to be a poet in the sense that he would write poetry in Latin. He wanted to be an English poet and write poetry in English, and that was a big revolutionary idea, and so that also caused for there to be a lot of attention. Now, you may have noticed that in my video, I have left out major facial features. I did this on purpose. I do think it's really important for the reader to have a full concept and idea of what the character is talking about and who they are and what they look like, to help bring these works alive, especially in something that's so old and that we don't really read anymore in modern America. I think just having that mental picture takes it from level 10 to level 100, but I didn't want to impose my ideas completely onto the viewer of this video. I still wanted you to have your own takeaway from the story and your own ideas. So, like, take for instance my interpretation of the wife of Bath. I saw her as old and annoying and aggressive and frankly really gross. I didn't care for her. But others saw her as a feministic icon and strong, and they wanted to emulate that energy into their own life. And so I didn't want my choice as depicting her as kind of like a witch-like character to fully corrupt your interpretation of her. So that's kind of why I chose to do this in the style that I have. It's also just the style that I draw in and what is easier for me. And there was a lot of characters, and facial features take a lot of time, so I'm not gonna lie. So, thank you so much for watching my video and taking interest in the Canterbury Tales, and I hope that I did your favorite characters justice and depicted them the way that you would have. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts or opinions or nitpicks with my with my drawings. But beyond that, thank you so much for listening and watching, and thank you so much to Professor Allegra for all of the hard work that you did with us over this past semester. Thank you for dealing with our goofiness and our bunny trails and just being ever so patient with us. All right, thank you.